Estonia began developing its digital society more than 2 decades ago and is now a leading digital nation. Digitalisation was a strategic choice for Estonia to improve the competitiveness of the state and increase the well-being of its people. The efficiency of the digital society is most clearly evident in the working time saved on bureaucracy, document handling and data collecting. Data is stored at the point of collection and accessible to authorised organisations in real time. Therefore, the e-cabinet can make the highest level decisions at speed and based on reliable information. Each citizen may also monitor access to one's data and make knowledge-based decisions on important matters. Estonian Data Agency works in close cooperation with other institutions to provide reliable and objective data, mostly collected from registers and databases. It also implements machine-readable data collection to save time and publish information faster. We aim to make Estonia a better place based on data.
Hello. It's like I was watching yesterday the Game of Thrones, so I feel exactly the same. I mean, it was like a battle. The battle which was with the cold white king, and the theme was exactly bringing you a battle which was in Estonia for a decade. I mean, it's a digitalization of Estonian society, and what's left to me, it's a new battle. So what I'm going to do and tell you is how and what we do in Estonia to take the Estonia to the next battle, which is more interesting, more fascinating, and I hope that it really brings out a lot of benefits for the citizens of Estonia. So, I'm not going to cover what Siim told, but I think the highlights is very simple. Estonia, when started the digitalization, there wasn't any legacy. And that's a very crucial point. So we didn't have legacy, so it was easy to build. We also invested in a first row, I think very wisely, in terms of interoperability of the data. And also a digitalization of the informational systems. But now, as comes with the big organizations, you have the old legacy. And what to do with the legacy, and also what to do with the data which is generated by the legacy. And that brings us into the simple view, similar view, what Google does, what Amazon does, what the other big institutions are doing. It's really how we use the data and benefit out of the data. So we are not talking anymore in Estonia in terms of digitalization. We are talking about datafication of the society. It is a long journey for us. It's not easy to do things in a correct and reasonable manner so that from the data we can really enhance the better services like Siim told, but also getting a real picture what happens in a society and what are the predictions, what we should really tackle in the future. We need to do a lot before getting on those decisions. In terms of the data, there is a new level skill set is needed. We call it 5G skill set. Why it's 5G? It's basically where and how we gather the data. So where the data is really. We have over 2,000 different informational systems in a public sector. In addition, we have 100,000, tens of thousands informational systems in a private sector. So the question is always for us, where the data is, how we can get used to this one, but also how we guard the data. So what are the privacy rules, what is security, what is the confidentiality rules, put it on place, and what is and how it's about data ethics. Siim also told that what we're doing currently is building algorithms, so how to grow out of this data really beneficial services. And last but not least is how we are disseminating the data. So how we get the real visualization so that out of this data, the information is beneficial for making good decisions. Why we call it 5G is to do it what we find out there need be a really cooperation between different agencies, but also common understanding how we define the data, how we use and how we implement the once only principle. And we have the other principle, which is twice use principle. So how we get out also beneficial information from the data. So for doing it, we decided that the eGovernance 2.0 should be established. And in the center of the eGovernance 2.0 is a citizen. What Siim told you is how we build up the services for a citizen or for the entrepreneur. For every service, we need the data. But nevertheless, before even the service is produced or taken, there is a need normally in a society or for the citizens for information about it. For example, which is the school to where I go, or where I put my child, or the kindergarten. So the question is, we're always seeking information, and based on the information we're getting, we make a decision and we take a service. Or, as from government side, we provide a service. So what we have done, we started with, of course, with entrepreneurs. It's very easy to establish a business. It's always the question, where the citizens are living, where they are working, what are the average salaries, where are the competitors on the market. So if you want to establish a gym, for example, it's very easy now in Estonia. The information is publicly available, where the people are living and where the competitors are. So it's really easy to spot. It's not only for the entrepreneurs, and also it's not only about giving information, it's finding out what could be the new services. What we did in Europe, we studied the European databases in terms of job market. Which jobs are affected by the automatizations? What are jobs which are disappearing from the market? And what are really appearing in the market? So doing this exercise, we found out that there could be a really simple services also on the market. For example, the guys was created a very simple tool. So you can tackle your position, find out your position, what you want to be, or where you want to be. And it's really easily gives you a path through which competencies or which position is the shortest way to take the new level in your career. So such kind of services or information, they're appearing all the time when we are dealing with the data. For us, it's always a question, it's not about do you have the data? It's a question about what and for what you need the data. So it brings us more to the discussion what the e-governance 2.0 should look like. And when we went through the Estonian ministries, the government, parliament, we got still the same answers than we got in the past. The topics was same. So we got a feedback that to making a good knowledge-based decisions, there is still need for a data. Also, what was told for us, there is a kind of different data or late data. It's a couple of years old, so just give us a more accurate data so we can make really good decisions. Nowadays, we get more kind of feedback that the information is too complicated. So that is the information overload. And honestly, the last point, what we are getting is, all right, if you have all the data, if you are telling that you have a different type of data, so what is the question? So doing it and helping the Estonian to establish new government, what we did and doing currently, the first topic, was giving the same information to all the relevant parties. We are increasing a constantly transparency in a society, meaning that the same indicators, the same crucial indicators, should be available to all different levels. And let me just show an example. The first, what we are dealing now is we're creating for every single ministry, for the local municipalities and for the trade unions, dashboards. Dashboards which includes their personalized indicator set. It's simple like a Netflix or Pinterest. So on a field you are working, you're specifying your interest areas, and you're getting your particular set of indicators. Why it's important? Really that both the trade unions, the local municipalities, and the central government will speak the same language. So they get the same understanding what is the problems and issues in a society in particular fields. Doing this one, which is very simple, so it's bringing together different counterparties and showing what is issues around the different areas, we came to another point. And the other point was, all right, if this is important for the municipalities and local municipalities and trade unions, how about the parliament? And how about government itself? Are we making in Estonia and in the world, are we making really knowledge-based decisions? Are we really talking the government 2.0? And we went through the Estonia the world. What is the Estonian government? We find out that in Estonia there is altogether 47 different strategical documents. 3 of them is horizontal ones. It's an enormous number of indicators if you want to measure the society. We are producing on a yearly basis 1 billion indicators. That's in Estonia. The question for us was how really we can get a clear picture what is important in a society and what is fine in a society and what is not. And that was a hard exercise for us because it's simple, for the particular development plan and for a particular ministry, which is important. But they are silos in this term. We need to look in a society as whole, which is the crucial in this one. We looked also above the Estonia, and we, as many of you know, the SDGs are something which is cross indicators. Due to the fact of this, plus the Estonian one, we came that we need to visualize even more the situation in Estonian society. What we do is we are really visualizing currently the society and trying to show it as it is. So it's simple tree, you see, but the outer circle is SDG indicators. The central circle is Estonia 2035. And the inner circle is a governmental performance plan for next coming years. It's a simple picture, but in the behind of it is a lot of work to really show what is well and which is really in a bad mood in Estonia. That's what we call eGovernance 2.0, to lead on a knowledge-based for the future. Of course, showing this one and developing this one, we came to the discussions with politicians. And honestly, having discussions both in Estonia and abroad, we got also one simple feedback. How stupid you can be. Do you know any politician who wants to see transparency? Or do you know any politician who really makes the decision based on it? Because politicians have in their mind already decision, and they need the data only for supporting his or her ideas. So that's a feedback we got. And I think it's quite the truth. So, what we do in Estonia, we still a kind of people who are very optimistic and trying to do something which is above the borders. And we say that it's not enough. It's not enough that the data is given for the e-services. It's not enough that the data is visualized what is the current stage of the society and where we are heading. We need to get also the citizen involvement into this one. So what we see is how the visualization of the data stories are getting around. So we are not telling in Estonia anymore about digital story. We are telling and going to tell more about data stories. How the citizen's life can be done better. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Interesting, a lot of big concepts for us to get our head around there. Did you, I mean, it was interesting that you've said that you had to ask questions and go overseas before you understood, oh wait, politicians don't quite act like that. Was that not something that sort of came out already, or because that's the collision of politics and data. That's the collision of all of these great ideas, and we sort of alluded to it in the last session with, well, couldn't there be a politician or a government minister who starts to get in the middle of these things? Is that something you're thinking of now as well? Like, is this kind of what you're saying, how to politician-proof this stuff, for lack of a better word?
Yeah, we had also a discussion in an international statistical community, what the statistical offices should be.
Okay.
Should be a fact-checking. I mean, when the politicians say there's something, and should we give the fact-checking? Should we say that, yeah, no, it's completely wrong, or that's true? Or should we get involvement really in a broader sense, that we are giving the overview, what's really happening? What comes to the asking a politician, I mean, normally if you ask politician whichever country, you will get always a political answer that, I mean, of course we are making knowledge-based decisions. And we are making our decisions based on the data. Is it honestly true? you normally should ask a politician from the other country. You may get a better answer.
Okay. Does that mean, I mean, that's because that's the collision of this politics with your office, that, okay, is a fact true or not? All right, we can check a fact true or not, but they, as you said, they can sort of pick little facts that they want to pick, and then maybe what you're providing is context, I guess, like, yes, this fact is true, what you've just said, but these other 10 facts are also true too. I don't know, I'm thinking about it anyway. Big thoughts for the big dig. Did anyone have a question for Mart before we head off to the break? I know, going to true people asking you things, it's all right. No, it's all good. I think there's a lot for us to think about, and it's certainly very interesting. It's not something that I expected, that the statistics office would be so involved at this level, so I think it's a good thing to see. Thank you very much, sir. One more round of applause for Mart Mägi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Give
you.
you a little bag.
Thank you. Yes.
You can have one of these.